Most famous buildings in the world. Hagia Sophia. The first church was built on the spot where a pagan temple had stood by Emperor Constantine himself in 360. In 505, the second church was built by Constantine's son Theodosius II. The third and final Hagia Sophia was built by Justinian in 532. In 1453, Sultan Mehmed II conquered Constantinople and turned it into a mosque, and subsequent sultans have made various additions since then. The Hagia Sophia that can be seen today was built between 532 and 537 and is one of the greatest surviving examples of Byzantine architecture. The biggest draw to the ancient church is the impressive 102-foot diameter dome, which reaches 182 feet into the sky. Other stunning characteristics of the Hagia Sophia are the countless mosaics, the loggia of the Empress, the marble door, the Sultan Lodge, Mehmed I library, and the marble jars. The Louvre. One of the most easily recognizable museums in the world, the Louvre's palace and the recently added glass pyramid are as beautiful to those who visit as the priceless works of art that is houses. But it wasn't always a museum. It was originally built in the 12th century as a museum, but in the 14th century it was converted into a royal residence. In 1750, Louis XV turned it back into a royal museum to house parts of the royal collection. During the French Revolution, it underwent another transformation, this time from royal to public museum. Throughout the years, it has been added to by Napoleon I and restored it by Louis XVIII and Charles X. Today, the Louvre holds 380,000 pieces, 35,000 of which are on display, including such important works as the Mona Lisa and the Venus de Milo. Empire State Building. Once the tallest building in the world, no film or television show set in New York is complete without including a shot of the Grand Art Deco skyscraper. The Empire State Building was designed by William F. Lamb, based on the designs for Reynolds Building in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and the Carew Tower in Cincinnati, Ohio. Originally the site of the word Astoria, construction of the Empire State Building began on St. Patrick's Day, 1930. 410 days later, construction was finished, and it won the title of world's tallest building, surpassing both 40 Wall Street and the Chrysler Building, which were being built around the same time. Leaning Tower of Pisa. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of the most remarkable architectural structures in Europe. Most famous for its tilt, the tower began to lean during construction after. Soft ground on one side was unable to properly support the structure's weight. St. Basil's Cathedral, Moscow. This garish candy-colored cathedral is in fact Moscow's most visited tourist attraction. The famous landmark, shaped to resemble the flame of a bonfire rising into the sky, is located just outside the Kremlin gates and marks the geometric center of the city. Colosseum, Rome. This elliptical amphitheater in the center of Rome is considered as one of the greatest architectural feats achieved by the ancient Romans. The stadium was capable of seating 50,000 spectators and used mainly for gladiatorial games. Built from concrete and stone, construction began on the Colosseum began around 72 AD and finished in 80 AD. The design and shape of the Colosseum has been the inspiration for many modern-day stadiums. Today it is one of Rome's most popular tourist attractions, attracting thousands of visitors each year. Taj Mahal, India. Recognized as the jewel of Muslim art in India, the Taj Mahal is built by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. Often mistaken as a palace, this famous landmark was actually built as a tomb for the emperor's wife after she died giving birth to their 14th child. The Taj Mahal is regarded as one of the finest examples of Mughal architecture, an amalgamation of Persian, Turkish, and Indian styles. Construction on the mausoleum began in 1632 and was completed in 1648. The surrounding buildings and gardens took a further 5 years to finish. Sydney Opera House. Sydney Opera House is the most famous Australian architectural icon. It is widely regarded as one of the greatest architectural works of the 20th century. The innovative design came from architect John Newton, who was relatively unknown until January 29th. 1957, when his entry to the international competition for a National Opera House at Bennelong Point, Sydney, was announced the winner. The beautiful building comprises of 3 groups of interlocking shells, which roof 2 main performance halls and a restaurant. A masterpiece of modern architecture, the Opera House has become an icon symbol of both Sydney and the Australian nation. Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower was designed by engineer Gustave Eiffel, who had originally submitted the design to Barcelona for the Universal Exposition in 1888, but they refused. When it was built, he engraved the names of 72 French scientists, engineers, and other notable Frenchmen. Towering high above Paris, the Eiffel Tower was built between 1887 and 1889 and acted as the entrance arch for the Exposition Universelle, which marked the centennial of the French Revolution. The tower was only supposed to stand for 20 years, but it was a valuable communication tool and remained as an unmistakable element of the Paris skyline, especially as buildings in the city cannot surpass 7 stories. The Giza Pyramids. The oldest buildings on this list, the pyramids on the Giza Plateau, has intrigued mankind for centuries. Not only have they stood the test of time, but the accuracy with which they were built is impressive even by today's standards. They were built as tombs for 3 separate pharaohs during the 3rd and 1st dynasty. It is also the only surviving wonder of the ancient world and was the tallest building in the world until 1300, when it was surpassed by the Lincoln Cathedral.